or not. You can either, the really sweet spot for the size of classes that this helps to teach is in that 6 to 8 number of people. So you can adjust it to be a larger group, which it would be a little less interactive, or you can even structure it to be in a one-on-one conversation with somebody in a coffee shop. And as we all know, I am not big on notes, because I feel like when people call in and they experience the call and they experience the training, that is so much better. It becomes more of a part of you than notes. But I did take the time to type up these very, very scant notes that you can, jot down as like a general structure, and then you can add the details to it as we go through this call. And so first of all, I want to congratulate everybody who did go out, who got their day planner, who opened it up. And for those who were not on the first call, our first assignment was to figure out how you want to keep up with your time, put in all of your obligations first, then go in and put in the things that you need to make you feel like you. If that's reading time, hot bath time, relax time, whatever it is, put that in there, and then go through again and plan your 7 to 10 Young Living business hours around all of that. So for all of you that did that, fantastic, good job, you get a gold star. So this class is the next thing that you want to put on the calendar. And before we even jump into it, I want you to think about a time this month when every single one of you can pull 6 to 8 people together and do a class. And this is the class that you're going to teach. There have been 3 classes that my team and I have actually marketed successfully. The first is called Dr. Mom. The second is Epic Health 101. And the third is Emergency Preparedness with Essential Oils. The funny part is that all 3 of these classes are the exact same class. The only difference is a changing of the wording on this structure. So I want you to think about who it is that you connect with the most and use one of those 3 classes, choose one, or come up with a different title. Essential Oils for Prayer and Meditation, Essential Oils for the Massage Therapist, Beginning Essential Oils for local tea drinkers. Whoever it is that you connect with, adjust the title, make it something that the people around you would be interested in, and then from that point you can move forward with this class structure and you do just adjust the wording. So first of all, the way that I teach this class is that the class is really more about experience than it is about giving information, okay? When you are experiencing essential oils and you get that essential oil testimony, that is when this product becomes very powerful for every business builder. And as we all know, most of us got into Young Living because there was a product that we needed, or there was a product experience that we had, and then later we decided to build a business. That's most of us, if not all of us, on this phone call. Very rare do I hear somebody say, I was looking for a business and found Young Living. That is a few people's story, but for the most part, it starts with product first, and that's exactly what this class does, but it will end very elegantly in business. So we will be accomplishing both, because our goal this year, if you're on my team or if you are in any other team and you happen to be listening, our big goal is to grow every single month this year and to try to make a new rank every quarter. So that's kind of exciting. It's definitely a huge goal, but we are here to support each other, and I'm here to support you, and this is one of the ways that we're going to make this happen. So the goal of this class, I really call these classes the backbone of your business. This is not an ongoing education class. It is not a regional class. This is a class that when you invite those 6 to 8 people to come and listen to your Essential Oils class, that anybody sitting in your sitting space, living room, coffee shop, wherever you're holding this class, they can go back to their homes and they can teach it within 4 training classes. And those would be the exact 4 training classes I'm taking you through over the next few Mondays. So it's very basic. This is a very basic introduction class, and we really, really need to keep it very simple. So the first rule of simplicity is no elaborate product displays, no brochures. You really don't want any of that, because you don't want somebody who shows up to your class to feel that that is what they have to do in order to hold a class. Every new layer of difficulty that you add is a layer that could potentially separate somebody from wanting to do their own class. And keep in mind, we are in this for money freedom and financial freedom, but we're also in this for time freedom. So you have to, as a business mentor and a business leader, empower every single person from day one to be able to build their own business. And one of the ways that you do that is by keeping it simple. There is a place for expertise and there is a place for product displays, but it is not at this class. This class is all about experience and none of the glitz and glam. Do not cater your beginning class. Next, the only thing that you need in order to do this class is an essential oil premium starter kit, a dry erase board and some markers, and some of your order forms that you can print using your printer right from the back office. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is that anybody who purchases a premium starter kit that is sitting in this class with you already is equipped with everything they need to do their own class. They don't have to go buy a thing. Now, I will offer some options at the end to go through and spruce things up, but I'm going to teach bare bones first because that really truly does seem to be the most effective. Now, I say no food, and food adds more time in preparation, and it also adds a layer of difficulty that not everybody is going to want to do. However, if you're going to have food, if that's something that you choose, make sure that you stay with things that are savory and that you do not have anything that is sweet, because you don't want people falling asleep. You want everybody to be able to pay attention. So, cheese and crackers, bowl of nuts, things like that. Now, the one thing that I would add, if you wanted to add something, would be water. Have a water dispenser of some sort, and next to that water dispenser, put your lemon essential oil and your citrus fresh essential oil. And as people come in, instruct them to put a couple of drops into the bottom of their cup before they fill it up with water. And the reason why I do recommend this is because, again, it's all about creating a wonderful essential oils experience with every single person that comes to your class. So step one is when somebody walks into the room, you need to be diffusing something into the air. This can be lemon, citrus fresh, joy, or thieves seem to be the most popular. I personally love using thieves, and whatever you're diffusing will become a talking point later in your talk. When you are teaching people how to use essential oils, you can actually talk about the very essential oil that you are diffusing. So, okay, so let's gather everybody together. They've walked in. They've smelled the beautiful smell from the essential oil. They've walked over, they have their glass of water, and now you're gathering everybody in your living room. Well, the first thing that you want to do is you want to be sure to explain what an essential oil is. Now, a lot of us have known essential oils for quite some time, and we forget that people do not know what an essential oil is. So what you want to do is you want to start there. And an essential oil is actually the lifeblood of the plant. The essential oils are responsible for getting the nutrients of that plant from the roots all the way through to the tips of the plant. It's also responsible for the care and healing of that plant. So if it were to get an injury, it's the essential oil that goes rushing in to help it heal. If a fungus were to try to attack it, it's the essential oil that would kind of beef up to ward off whatever infection the plant may get. And if you were to go out into your yard and pluck a leaf off the tree and tear that leaf in half, that little bit of oil that comes out would be the essential oil. Now, we use essential oils every single day. So many people are familiar with them and their use, and they don't even realize it. One of the most common ways that I hear is when someone is having a hard time sleeping, they could go to their kitchen and open up their cabinet and get out a tea bag of chamomile tea, okay? Then what you do is you take that tea bag that is filled with some chamomile tea leaves and maybe some other sections of that plant, and you put it in hot water. Now, the reason why the tea bag goes into the hot water is because the hot water at that point becomes the tool that is used to extract the essential oil from the dried herb. So out of that dried herb comes the essential oil. Out of that dried herb can also become the color of the plant, which is why a lot of teas are brown or green, based upon the color of the leaves that are in there. But it helps to extract that out of the leaf. Then you drink the cup of tea, and the essential oil, which is the medicinal part of that cup of tea, will go to work, and it will help to slow your heart rate, and it will help to slow your breathing, and it will get your body in a better state to be able to go to bed. Well, essential oils, they skip the middleman. We do not dry herbs and then keep the essential oils in there as a way of preservation. Instead, Young Living distills the essential oil out of the plant and will give you the pure medicinal benefit of that plant. So instead of getting a cup of chamomile tea, you might use 1 or 2 drops of an essential oil, rub it into the palms of your hand and breathe it in, or you can even put 1 or 2 drops into the cup of tea and add hot water, but it's only 1 or 2 drops, not an entire cup of tea. So essential oils are something that we interact with every single day. And there are different grades of essential oils. So I'm sure that a lot of you know you can go down to a natural grocery store and sometimes a not so natural store, and you will find a little case that is filled with essential oils. Well, what's interesting about essential oils is that they don't have to be pure. A lot of those are actually therapeutic grade essential oils, which means they are not safe to apply topically to your skin, and they're also not safe to ingest. Here's something that's kind of interesting about essential oils that you may pick up at, big box stores or things like that. They may carry the label 100% pure peppermint oil. But in order to have that on the label, they only have to contain 100% pure peppermint oil. They do not have to be 100% pure peppermint oil. What I mean by that is when you go and you purchase your peppermint oil, only 2% of that bottle actually has to be actual peppermint oil, and the other 98% can be something else. So when if you're at a natural grocery store, chances are that something else is also going to be something natural, like an almond oil or an olive oil, but essentially it's going to be 98% carrier oil. And if you've ever heard of essential oils being stretched, that's exactly what that means. It's 2% essential oil, 98% something else. And what is interesting is that I have had clients that have had allergic reactions in the past to lavender essential oil, or they've had allergic reactions in the past to other kinds of essential oils. But when they try a Young Living essential oil, they have no allergic reaction. And that's because their reaction was to the 98% that was in the bottle and not that 2%. So not only are you going to need more of that bottle in order to get the medicinal benefit, but you need to be aware of what that carrier oil is, so keep that in mind. Now, a therapeutic grade essential oil is absolutely nothing but the pure oil. Young Living peppermint essential oil is nothing but what directly comes out of that peppermint plant. That's all that goes into the bottle. And that is why only 1 to 2 drops of a therapeutic grade Young Living essential oil is a full application. To get the medicinal benefit from the essential oil, that is really all you need. So there are Young Living essential oils is actually the largest distiller of therapeutic grade essential oils in the world. We have 7 farms all over the world, and we have a very unique seed to seal process that really sets us apart from other essential oils companies. So Young Living actually controls the plant from the moment it's a seed and it gets planted into the ground, through it growing, through the harvesting, through the distillation, and through the labeling of every single bottle of Young Living essential oil. We are not an oil broker. And what that means is we don't just show up to a world market somewhere, select a vat of what says lavender oil on it, and then slap a Young Living label on it and mail it off to your door. We actually control the entire process from seed all the way through to the seal. So you can be sure that when you are putting those 2 drops of lemon essential oil, that they are powerful, they are high quality, and they are going to give your emotions the uplift that lemon does, as well as the gentle cleanse that it can give to your system, because they are safe and they are high quality. Now there are 3 ways that you can use essential oils. One of the ways that you can use essential oils is by diffusing. And so in the diffuser, I have put Thieves essential oil. And what's great is not only does it smell like Christmas in here, but it has the added benefit of pulling bacteria and germs out of the air, as well as promoting a healthy immune system. So you can also take a couple of drops of essential oils and put them in your hands and rub them together, cup them over your nose and your mouth, and breathe really nice and deep. And then one of my favorite things to do is to take a cotton ball and drop a couple of drops of essential oils on the cotton ball and then tuck it right into the pillowcase, so that while you're sleeping, you get a constant stream of essential oils going into your system. So another way that you can use essential oils is actually topically. And this is probably one of the most common ways to use the essential oil. So if you were out working in the garden, or in my case, you're out shoveling snow, and all of a sudden you feel that little crook in your back, you can take Panaway essential oil, rub it on that spot, and it will get to work alleviating the pain and increasing the circulation and getting rid of the inflammation right away. Another way that you can use it topically, and this is a little interesting, is actually on the bottoms of your feet. The bottoms of your feet are very, very absorbent, and anything that is placed on the bottom of your foot will actually go through your system in about 20 minutes. And something really fun to do is to actually take garlic and rub garlic on the bottoms of your feet. And if you give it about 20 minutes, you will end up having garlic breath because your feet are very absorbent. I know a lot of you just thought twice about going barefoot. But if you take Thieves essential oil and you put those drops on the bottoms of your feet, you're going to get it's going to promote a very healthy immune system for you. And it will actually, it's one way to get the essential oils all the way through your bloodstream without having to use them topically somewhere else if you're going to be going out or something like that. Now, one of my favorite ways to use essential oils is to use them topically down the spine using something called raindrop technique, which, you know, we can cover at a different class. Or if you have an ailment, you can get someone to just drop a couple of the drops of essential oil down your spine and just give a real gentle kind of rub-in of the oil. And that is also a very effective way to get it all throughout your system. Now, last but not least, because this is my favorite way to use an essential oil, is internally. You can only do this, and I cannot stress this enough, you can only do this with a therapeutic grade essential oil. Please don't try this with any other kind of essential oil, because I can't guarantee that it is going to be safe. So in the water, of everybody who is at your class, they already have essential oils that they are ingesting. So they've tasted it, and they've tried it. You know, it was lemon or it was citrus fresh, so it was something kind of fun and springy. But another way to use the essential oils internally is by placing a few drops into an empty gel cap. So if you really need to knock out a cold, or if you are battling with some pain issues and you really need something that is going to put an end to that, you're going to drop the essential oils into an empty gel cap, and then you will swallow that gel cap and be well on your way to a much, much happier day. So those are the 3 ways to use essential oils. And what you want to do now while you are in the class is we're going to transition to basically the body of the class. This entire introduction period should take somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes. The introduction is not why people have come. The introduction is simply to make sure that everybody is educated enough to appreciate what you are about to show them next. So the whiteboard is by far the longest part of the class. And you really want the class to last only 1 hour from beginning to end all the way through. So from the second their foot crosses over your threshold or steps into the coffee shop to the moment that you are saying, "Thank you for coming, everybody," and you are letting them go, that time should be about an hour. Okay? So we're going to turn to your big whiteboard, and you're going to pick your favorite color marker, and you're going to draw a line right down the center of the whiteboard. And the question that you ask to get your audience interacting with you is dependent upon the class that you're teaching. So for example, if I am teaching a Dr. Mom class and I have advertised, and pretty much everybody who is sitting in my living room is a mom or a dad, and their health is very outward focused, I'm going to ask them, so give me some symptoms or some things that you deal with in your own family. What are some symptoms that you're kind of hoping that maybe there's a natural answer to? If it's an Epic Health 101 class, typically that title lends itself well to people whose health is more self-focused, which we all of us need to self-focus to our health because, as a mom, I know that if I'm not healthy, my entire house goes downhill. And it's like that for everybody, single, parent, not parent. If you're not healthy, if you don't have a self-focus to your health, then there's probably something out of balance. But Epic Health 101 appeals to people who have a self-focus primarily to their health. And so you would ask the question, so tell me about some symptoms that you are experiencing that you're hoping, maybe there's a more healthy answer for. And then if you're doing emergency preparedness, what I like to do is I like to say, okay, everybody, we're going to imagine that for whatever reason, we cannot get to a hospital. We can't get to a hospital, no ambulance can come to us. And I want you to think of some situations that you would want to be prepared for. And then you start to write those down. So everything that everybody says is going to start getting written down on the left-hand side of your whiteboard. The most common things that you are going to hear are things like headache, insomnia, aches and pains, depression is huge, stress is huge. And so take the time before you teach your first class to take a note card and jot down what you can anticipate being the most asked for symptoms from anybody who is sitting in your living room. Now, here is another trick to this section, okay? After you have written down all of the symptoms on the left-hand side of the board, on the right-hand side of the board, you're going to begin to go through the oils that are in the premium starter kit and line them up with the symptoms that are on the left-hand side of the board. And it goes a little something like this. Okay, so we said headache because you have a headache, you have problems with headaches in your family. So what I would suggest is, what promotes, really healthy head health, or however you want to say it so it's FDA approved, is peppermint is fantastic for headaches. And this is a way that you can use it internally, because you just take a little drop of peppermint and put it on the roof of your mouth, or you breathe it in. Or let's say that your headache is caused by stress. Do you feel like your headache, does it feel like it's caused by stress? Does it feel like it's caused by anxiety? Get into a conversation with the people who are sitting in your living room. Because if that's a stress headache, guess what it needs? It needs stress away. So as you are talking about the oils, you're going to open them, you're going to be passing them around the room, and I take the time to go ahead and educate my audience per oil on the safe way to use essential oils. So when I'm passing around peppermint is a hot oil. You always want to make sure to try it on a very small part of your skin before you cover a whole area with it. Here is an oil, stress away, which also can be fantastic for infants, but you never want to touch the skin of an infant with an essential oil. What you want to do is you want to take, if you want to use an essential oil on a baby, you need to put that oil in your hands first, wave your hands around a little bit to dissipate the oil somewhat, and then cup your hand over the area that you are hoping to help. So if the little guy has an upset stomach, you can cup your hand over his stomach and help the baby that way. So you want to give those warnings about hot oils, about how strong peppermint is and thieves can be, how you want to be cautious when you're using oils around children. The biggest issue with oils in children is that you can take thieves and maybe you dilute it and you rub it on their chest because they have a cold, and then the child ends up touching that area of their chest and then puts their hands in their mouth or touches their eye. So make sure that if you're using oils on children that you are keeping the area covered that you are using, that you're diluting, and that you're just, being generally safe when it comes to oils. So as I'm explaining how to use the oils, I always put that in there somewhere. It always tends to naturally fall in a symptom somewhere in this section. Then the point that I can't stress enough here is you do not want to appear to be an expert. So even if this is your very first training call and you just bought your kit yesterday, you're going to need some help with this section. So you're going to create some note cards about the most common symptoms, and you're going to have them with you, and you are going to look at them while you are doing this section. If you are an oils expert and you have it all memorized and you can rattle off the essential oils off the top of your head, you are still going to take one symptom, at least one, maybe two, and you're going to look it up in the essential oils desk reference. Also, feel free to ask more questions. If somebody throws something at you that you have never heard before, feel free to ask them more questions about that. So they might say, oh, well, my cousin had a baby who suffers from cystic fibrosis. You could always say, oh, you know what? I'm not really familiar with cystic fibrosis. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it? Or you can say, cystic fibrosis is actually a very complicated thing to have. So why don't I get with you after this and we can talk about the essential oils that can help with that. Or feel free to say, I'm not sure what essential oils can help you with XYZ, but I'm going to find out. So why don't you give me your email address? I want to do a little bit of research for you on your behalf, and just to make sure to get you the right information. Okay? So any of those answers are acceptable. The important part is that you don't get bogged down in the education of it, but rather you are empowering people where to find the answers when they come across difficult symptoms. Okay? If you mess up and you bumble something, it is the best thing that you can do, because again, everybody in your audience is watching you and they're watching what you do, and how somebody comes in to essential oils is typically the way they feel they have to bring someone else into essential oils. So if you are too much of an expert, what is going to happen is that the people who are sitting in your audience are going to think, wow, I want to share essential oils with my friends, but boy do I ever have to see a million of these classes. Or boy do I really need to get into some training and get my education up. Or boy do I really need to, they'll start having all of these roadblocks for things that they need to do before they can start some general essential oils education. Now the answer is yes. If you want to teach a regional class, you are going to have to gain some knowledge. But for these classes, for these backbone classes that build a business really fast, nobody needs to be an expert. Nobody needs to be an expert. And if you put yourself out there as being one, not only will that slow the growth of your company, but then people will feel that they can't go and duplicate what has already been done. Okay? So now we have gone through the whiteboard section, and now it's time to announce that there is a wonderful premium starter kit that all of these oils belong to. And here's how I do it. What I like to say is I like to say, Young Living has done a spectacular job putting together a starter kit that contains 11 oils. Those 11 oils are the 11 oils that we just went through here on the right-hand side of the board. So this essential oils kit is put together in something called the Premium Starter Kit. You get 11 oils plus a free diffuser, and it is a spectacular deal because if you wanted to purchase the oils separately, you would be spending more than $300. And if you were to buy just the diffuser retail all by itself is $98. So that's how I introduce the cost and the existence of the Premium Starter Kit. I just like to work it up as being, a fabulous starter kit, very well put together, and it will cover most of the symptoms the average household experiences, as well as getting into some chronic issues. Then comes the time-dated offer. So when I'm done explaining what the starter kit is and what a good deal it is and why they should pick it up, I have a time-dated offer. And so my favorite time-dated offer is the Pocket Essential Oil Desk Reference Books. Now, these books are an option because if you were to purchase the books, they're $15 a piece. Now, we learned last time that you make a minimum of $50 off of every kit. So that would be a $15 investment that's going right back out to that client. But a client that has a pocket starter guide, the Essential Oils Pocket Reference, they are going to be a more informed client, and you get to tell them, hey, listen, this book is actually organized by symptom. So the next time you experience a symptom, A through Z, you're going to get in this book, you're going to look it up, and you're going to know which essential oil will actually help you with that. So not only do you have a client that is going to feel better about being able to help themselves, they're going to be more empowered, but you are also going to have a client that is fully equipped to go ahead and start doing a class themselves. So that is my time-dated offer. If you cannot afford a time-dated offer like that, then you just need to be creative. Think about something that you can offer for people who purchase a kit that night because you really want to encourage them to do so. So that is the conclusion of your class, and the next thing that you want to do is start gathering up people's information. Now, I like to take my order form, and in the beginning of the class, I will have people fill out the top of their order form regardless of if they buy anything. But really, the only bits of information that you need is their email address, their zip code, and their name. And so here's how I get that information. And this is also the $1 million question. Okay? The million-dollar question is, I do an educational email about essential oils about once a week. Would you be interested in receiving my email? Okay? After you ask that, would you be interested in receiving that email? The chances are is that they're going to say yes. And when they say, they're going to say yes because they showed up to get information about essential oils. And so they're going to want to continue, they want to build off of what they just learned at your amazing class. So then you ask the million-dollar question. And that is fantastic. Are you interested in the oils, the business, or both? Okay? So I do an educational email about essential oils, and I send it out about once a week. Would you be interested in receiving that email? When you get a yes and you write down their email, or maybe they hand it to you because they filled out the order form, then that's followed with, okay, are you interested in the oils, the business, or both? And I wanted to say that twice so that you guys could write it down. Now, if you really know the people that you're speaking with, to that question you could also add, are you interested in the oils, the business, or both? And would you be interested in having an essential oils class in your home? So you've got to feel out the addition of that last sentence. You're going to know your audience better than I do, and so that's one of those things that you can tag on the end. Okay? Now that is your essential oils class. It's now done. Everybody can go home. And you can there's a number of different ways that you can deal with people who want to order premium starter kits. They all have upsides and downsides. I personally like to have an order form there that I have people fill out, and then later after everybody is gone, I will go to youngliving.com and I will click the sign up button, and I will go through and I will sign everybody up kind of on my own time. There's a number of people who like to sign people up right there. So they have a laptop or an iPad, and they will go to youngliving.com and they will have people sign up and order their kits right at that moment. That is fantastic as well. However, if you are going to take the technology approach where you have people sign up right away there at the meeting, make sure to still have order forms on hand in case you enter into the technical difficulties. That could be a website isn't working properly, or maybe your internet goes down, or maybe there's so many people who want kits that to have people wait until everybody is signed up is just not time effective. So keep those order forms on hand. Okay, so now your class is over. Yay! You want to get into your planner, and you want to look at your order forms, and you're going to count out 5 days from the date that customer ordered. Then what you're going to do is you are going to begin to look to see if their shipment has arrived. Because on the day that their shipment arrives, you want to call them and you want to go through every single oil in that kit again. I also like to send my people a welcome letter. Welcome to the world of Young Living Essential Oils. Here is your internet password. Here is your username. Here is your member number. Here's how you get a hold of me. Here's how you get a hold of the company. You know, I send a really nice welcome letter that outlines all of that. So, and that's a good habit to get into. Okay, so let's talk about some options for our classes. Because like I said, I was going to teach a really bare bones class. You really want everybody who leaves that class to leave with something that has your contact information on it. Okay? I don't believe in business cards because they are the easiest things in the world to lose. I also, one of the options that you can do is you can get the larger tear sheets from Crown Diamond Tools or lifesciencepublishers.com. The tear sheets are relatively inexpensive and they're bigger, so if you fold them in half, people are less likely to use them. But what I do is a total option. I don't regularly, I teach this as an option, but I like to do a little do-it-yourself project. And so what I do is I take a bowl. After we are done with the whiteboard and we have done the stuff on the left and the right-hand side, I will pull out a big bowl, and into that bowl I will scoop a couple of scoops of baking soda. I get the big bag from Costco for like $6. So then what I do is I have everybody start talking about what their favorite essential oil is, because we are going to make some laundry crystals. And so we talk about the different things that the different oils that we could put into those laundry crystals and why we would do it. So we might talk about thieves and how thieves could disinfect or get rid of the sour smell. We'll talk about lavender and how lavender could be very comforting if you wash your sheets. We talk about the different essential oils, and again, it's just one other way that people can begin to personally identify with essential oils. Then what I do is I add anywhere between 5 to 10 drops per cup of baking soda, and you're going to have to use your nose for this one, because if you choose a lighter smelling oil, you're going to need more of it, and if you use a stronger smelling oil, you're going to need less. And what your guests are going to do is they're going to add 2 tablespoons of that powder every single time they do the laundry to their wash. You're going to add it to your wash load. Okay? So the vessel that this is carried in varies so widely, it's unbelievable. Sometimes I just go to the dollar store and I will get the clear gift, like the goodie bags, and I will put the powder into the goodie bags. Sometimes I will find the Kerr jars, the glass jars with the lid on them for sale, and I'll buy those and I'll fill those. Those are probably the most expensive. Sometimes I find Parmesan cheese shakers on sale, and then all of a sudden we're not doing laundry crystals, we're now doing carpet freshener. Same recipe, you just scoop it into the Parmesan shaky deal and you give it to your guests. But the most important thing that you need to do is you need to put a very nice label on whatever your vessel is. And that label should have your name, the name of the class, and the telephone number that they can use to get a hold of you, and your website if you have one. Okay, I personally believe that every single business builder should have a Marketing Sense account. I use Marketing Sense. That is what I use to kick out that weekly educational email. And if you have Marketing Sense, you will take your orders and you will put in those names and email addresses and zip codes, and then you will put them in the product user category. Regardless of if they actually bought a product or if they said that they were interested in the business, everybody goes in the product user category, because that guarantees that they will be receiving your educational emails every single week for a month. Okay, so the little jars are just things that I like to send people away with. However, it is not needed. Don't let that hold you back. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, the idea of doing a do-it-yourself project in the middle of, my first essential oils class and trying to get through the essential oils, make sure that the biggest things that are happening is that everybody is talking and everybody is asking questions and they're interacting and they are getting a solid understanding of essential oils, but more than that, a fantastic oils experience. That is really what you want to emphasize in these classes. And you're going to be amazed that out of those 6 people, 5 of them or 3 of them want to have a class in their home. And this is how this grows very organically. So last call, I was talking about the 3 characteristics of a business builder. Those 3 characteristics were having a 100 PV order every single month. The second one was be willing to do classes, which would be this class right here. And the third one was to do the follow-up of everybody placed underneath them. So the reason why I do not quantify the number of classes that is required from a business builder is because they might do one of these classes And then all of a sudden, all 6 people who were in that class wanted you to go do classes of their own. So now your new business builder is going to be responsible for going out and doing classes and helping to train all 6 of these people. And then those people end up having classes, and it goes very quickly. Whenever your business growth slows down, that's when you personally need to go, okay, who do I know? I need to put together another class. But other than that, you should be going out and training your business builders how to do this class until they can do it on their own and until they learn how to train those people underneath them how to do it. And that's how you get the time freedom. So that is the class right there. That's the whole thing. And I'm going to take a look in the chat box and just see if anybody has questions, throw them in the chat box. Does anybody have a, is anybody not getting the 3 and free? Would you like to just throw your Marketing Sense referral link in there? Oh, thanks, Jane. So Marketing Sense, washed, recycled Starbucks Frappuccino jars. That is fantastic, Jane. See, look at that. You guys are all answering each other's questions. You don't even need me to do it. I like that. Okay. Let me explain a little bit more about Marketing Sense. I don't get a kickback. It's not like I'm a Marketing Sense salesperson, but I really believe in that tool to build your business because it adds ease and it's also automated. So it's one of those things in your business that's going to run in the background without you having to think about it. Marketing Sense is it's $1 for the first 30 days, and then the price goes to $19.95. However, when you have every single person who opens their Marketing Sense account is going to get a referral link. And when you have 3 people that sign up for Marketing Sense using that referral link, yours then becomes free. So I haven't paid a penny for my Marketing Sense account in a really long time. I've been 3 and free for a very long time. And then what I like to do is for my business builders is I like to try to keep tabs on those who don't have a 3 and free yet. And when I'm talking to new business builders and they say, yes, I want to get a Marketing Sense account, then I give them my team members' referral link so that everybody can eventually be on 3 and free, hopefully. So it is a cost of doing business, but the tool is amazing. There's training back there. There's Young Living training back there. Meeting Burner, which is the program that I'm using to run this webinar, is from Marketing Sense. That's a Marketing Sense product. There's a lot back there as well as the contact management system, which is amazing. So I'm sorry, I didn't actually intend to do a plug for Marketing Sense, but it's fantastic. So, all right, everyone. Well, I hope that you got a lot out of this class. I know the notes that I put up there are very rudimentary, but it's because I just so wholeheartedly believe that if you put your own pen to your own paper, and actually one thing, oh, for those of you who are still listening, haha, something I left out. In the class, to the people who are listening to you talk, I give blank pieces of paper, or Lori Youngdahl actually created a beautiful like border sort of a thing for the class, but I give them pieces of paper for them to take their own notes. And that does 2 things. The first thing does is it keeps you from being like somebody, you writing down that peppermint is good for headaches and then somebody injures themselves using peppermint for headaches and, there's that whole thing. But if they write it down in their own handwriting, what I have found is that it gets in them better and a little deeper. So the next time somebody has a headache, they're more likely to remember, oh yeah, peppermint essential oil is good for headaches because they wrote it down themselves. So just a thought on note-taking. People will sometimes also need something hard to write on. And so I prefer to use product guides for people to use as their, quote-unquote hard surface. I don't really let any product guides walk out of the class, though. So I use the same product guides for forever. I just had to throw away my 8 product guides that I had on hand because we got the new product guides in. So, so you can buy them once and then just have them there. People like to flip through catalogs, so it's kind of nice. So all right, everybody. Well, have a fantastic and a good night. I did record this call. Let me hit the stop recording button.